show today.
Wow, very cool. The live stream should be up and running here in 2 seconds.
Hey, you got some nice copies today.
Yeah, those were nice and clean.
Those were nice.
And the prices were, well, we're live on YouTube.
It takes me a second to get it.
Yeah. Um, dun, 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 dun.
Wow, we did an hour last time.
Yeah. Last week was a long show. Welcome everybody to episode 8 of Pick Our Brains. I'm Ken and he is Max. Our weekly live show Q&A. Happy to answer any questions. Yeah. If you don't mind giving me a moment, I'm going to share this link with some different people. Last week was a long show. Welcome everybody to episode 8 of Pick Our Brains. I'm Max. If you wouldn't mind turning that down a smidge, Max, that'd be nice. Not like this is
I gotta find the chat now.
Not like we're trying to be a professional YouTube show or anything.
Ever.
We're very laid back. Someday maybe we'll have all kinds of crazy graphics and sounds and introduction music and stuff, but for now we kind of just wing it.
Well, I don't see the chat, so I'll rely on you.
Oh my gosh, Max.
I know.
I tell you, you need to take a technology 101 course where they just teach you how to turn on your phone, turn off your phone, turn the music up. Do you know how to hook up Bluetooth stuff?
I got
You
that.
must do you use your little barcode scanner thing, right? That's Bluetooth with your phone, right? Yeah. So you know how to do some technology stuff, but then
Oh, I'm big time.
There's other stuff that it's like, how do you not know how to do this? It's very confusing. I mean, I grew up without a smartphone. I think I got my first smartphone when I was like 20 years old in college. So,
Well, let's put it this way. When I started teaching high school,
yeah,
there were no cell phones.
not even, well, no. Okay. So, yeah, but
Blackberries, just
yeah,
Blackberries.
yeah. When did you get your first cell phone?
I don't remember.
Probably in the early 2000s.
Yes, so.
Okay. Oh, Viverka's here. Viverka wasn't at our last show. That's Squirrel. She says, funny made it here this time by sheer luck. Well, awesome, Viverka. I'm glad you
Luck. Sheer luck.
put it on your schedule. It's every Monday, 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 California, 1:30 Hawaii. Or I suppose if you're in, what else is this on Hawaiian time?
I think Hawaii is 5 hours
Oh,
because I have a cousin in Hawaii.
isn't it just like 1 hour off of California or an extra
Yeah,
hour?
yeah.
Okay. Oh, for you, yeah, 5 hours.
Yes. You
Yep.
forget that
5:30,
I'm on the other coast.
5:30 Eastern, 12:30 Hawaii time. What else is on Hawaii time? Is like Alaska and Russia or
Alaska, probably, no?
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Part of Alaska anyway. Welcome everybody. Hope everyone's having a beautiful Monday. It's been rainy the last couple days and it's gonna rain tomorrow as well.
That's why Ken has his sweatshirt on.
Yeah, gotta support the farmers. My cousin John Richmond has a dairy farm in Colfax. His farm is called Golden Hills Farm because him and his wife very much love dogs and they have golden retrievers.
Is it all dairy?
Yep, cows, dairy cows.
But do they do meat as well?
I think the dairy cows can be used for meat towards the end of their life.
You don't know if they do that or not? Okay, we can talk about it.
Yeah, if they have a cow that's getting towards the end of her life and isn't productive for milk, this might offend some of our vegan viewers. They may use her for meat towards the end of her life.
I heard a funny joke about this.
Okay.
Let me think about it first. Hold on. If a vegan and a vegetarian jump off a building, who wins?
Everybody else.
Society.
Max, that's very offensive.
No, I'm not trying
It's
to be
not that
offensive.
kind of show, Max. We are not a.
Wait, oh, I got my podcast confused.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the midnight
That's
show is
that's the carnivore special.
where you can tell all of your offensive vegan jokes. I do not appreciate them. These are Max's opinions only. I am not associated with Max's opinions on vegans, though I'm not a vegan. Um, yeah.
So how many
But
people do we have in the chat right now?
we have six people watching.
Do we
Seven.
have any questions?
Viverica says, Ken, did you have a collection of arrowheads? I do not. I'm trying to think, what else do I collect, Max?
You're not
Uh,
really, I mean, I know what you do collect. You collect very fine binding literature.
yeah.
That's your truest collection is fine binding literature. But I don't think you go beyond that. I mean, I know you like some biblical art. I know you like things like that.
I like postcards. I like trying to think. I like light fixtures. I have a few light fixtures in my collection. Josh Graff in the chat. Josh Graff is here. What?
Good afternoon, Josh Graff. Josh, can we get an update on why Marcy wasn't in her show on Whatnot?
Is she still not in her
I
show?
checked earlier and she still wasn't in there.
I checked a little bit after 4 o'clock.
Josh, can you check real quick for us and give us an update?
I'm looking. I don't see her. I
Okay.
don't see her show anywhere. So
I wonder if she got confused with the time.
maybe she scheduled it for because she's I don't know what time she
But if
did
she's
it.
a wristwatch wearer and she didn't switch the watch.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Do you want to see a crazy fine binding I bought for myself several months ago?
You asked for the collection. Here we go.
I was a little disappointed because it comes in this beautiful box and it came from France. And the box got smashed on the way from France. And it was because they packaged it very poorly. So the box kind of got smashed to heck, which I wasn't too impressed with.
Is it an original box for the book?
Yes. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful custom. Sorry, I took the book out. It's a beautiful custom box, like the finest of fine bindings you'll have. I think it's a French book of hours, so it's a religious book. And again, like it's just an insanely quality fine binding.
And tell us a little bit about the publishing history on that one.
I'll have to check.
Looks like late 1800s, no?
Yes, yep, I think it's give me a sec. I should probably know more about it since I bought it for myself. It's dated 1892 right there, and it has these beautiful, beautiful kind of medieval style designs.
Yeah.
But it's late Victorian. We got Art Turner in the chat. He says, hello, fellas. Hey, Art, how's it going?
Good afternoon, good evening, Art. Thank you for coming to the earlier show, the Whatnot show. Thank you.
Did he win a few things?
I think he won one or two things, yeah.
And then we have Mary Preezy. How would you pack a book for that? Like that.
Mary's your Wisconsin
Okay. Sorry,
paper
I'm
golder.
bad with names. I knew it was Mary.
He is. Everybody in paper gold, I'm telling you now, he is so bad with names.
Yeah.
By the way, let me throw this out now. We are playing a game show a little bit on Thursday night for my paper golders. We have a game show coming up, so be on the lookout.
Yeah, very cool. I'm excited for that. Should be fun. Do you have like how many questions are you gonna ask?
So far, I have 4.
You know, you could send out emails to like all like 40 people that are regulars to the shows and get like compile their answers and never know who's up.
Yeah, but if I ask them the week of, then I know they'll be at the show for sure.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because if I ask a question, they're not in the show. You know, with my note taking, I'm going to forget who it was.
Yeah. Yep. So Max, how would you package a book a very expensive book? How would you package it?
Bubble wrap, a couple times around. tightly too, tightly with tape. Then I would be putting it in the center of a box with crushed paper underneath, crushed paper around it, crushed paper on the top. I would probably cut the box to fit.
Mhm.
So the box, if it was a taller box, I would make it smaller. Um, that's about it. How much was the book?
I think it was about $500.
Woo.
Yeah, it was
And
pricey.
did you ask for a partial refund?
Yeah, yeah. I debated between just returning it, and they would only give me $50 on a $500, and it was there. It was 100% their poor packaging. I think they maybe wrapped it in bubble wrap and then in a box that was too small without any extra um padding, so it got crushed in a box.
It's funny though, because you buy expensive books on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I feel like you pack extremely well your own product for people, but you don't ever forewarn somebody you buy a book from, hey, can you make sure it gets packed well? You don't do that little statement that people do.
Maybe if it's a really expensive leather set, I would consider sending a message because I get those messages saying
Right.
like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
even
we all do.
sometimes we'll get a message on like a $10 book saying, "Hey, make sure you package this extra securely." It rains a lot in my area, and my mailman just throws shit around, and um, so yeah, I definitely get lots of those questions, or a lot of those requests.
But for as much as you buy, I'm surprised you don't have a cut and paste when you buy something expensive.
Nope, I just kind of trust
Yeah.
sellers, and they plenty of times they disappoint me, but I don't know. We got all kinds of people in the chat. We asked Josh has a question for me. Josh, you're going to be very happy with me. Josh says, Kent, why don't you have a thermal printer? Well, Joshua, where is it? You see that? See that little thing right there? That is a thermal printer. It is a Nelco. I bought it about 2 weeks ago, and it's been doing wonders.
Josh, what do you think about the desk that printer
Oh,
sits on? Do you like that ergonomic desk?
Max was just making fun of me because do you want to see my accounting? That's my accounting section right there, that pile of receipts. Those are my year's worth of receipts, and I will organize them in about February or March-ish for the accountant. I'm very organized in my business. John, we have Grayson Kohler in the chat. Grayson was the one that he sells stuff on eBay. And actually, Grayson, I'm glad you're here because he had a really nice Jane Austen leather bound book set. I think it brought $900 or something. I really wanted to buy it, but it's a smidge out of my price range. Great, Grayson, were you
There's
happy with
nothing
that?
out of your price range.
Well, I know, but I would have had to mark it up from $900. So I maybe could have made a tiny profit, could have asked 1,500 or something, but I don't know. Stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Grayson says, I just dubiously packed a Jane Austen set. It would barely fit in a large flat rate box. Okay.
Ooh, I'm surprised you did the flat rate box on that.
I'm guessing, Grayson, did you do some
Ooh.
insurance on that? He already replied in the chat. He said he paid $250 for it, shipping included. I think I made a few $100 profit. Yeah, that's great. Dang, $450. That was cheap, and he sold it for I think over 900. So that was a nice little profit.
That's a great flip, Grayson. That's a great flip.
And again, I like Jane Austen is something that you can auction off, and you're going to get a great price for. Just everyone wants it. So I'm sure he had tons and tons of views and watchers. Are you trying to figure out how to find your chat?
I miss not seeing what's going on.
Well, okay, let me think.
Here's my issue.
Oh, where'd you? No, you just click.
Now we got a
Go
commercial.
back. Go back. We'll figure this out. Um, Josh is proud of me. I package most items on my washer and dryer. Okay, fair. Yeah, exactly. Josh Kraft is over here working on his washer and dryer. So we all kind of make things work. Okay, let me see your phone again.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to have to fly out to everybody's homes and offices
Yeah.
and get angry with everybody.
Okay. Is there not a live chat
What?
section? I don't know. Look for a live chat or a chat button. Click around a little bit.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. And actually that was good because in the Paper Gold group, you had us a few months ago send pictures of our workstations.
Mm-hmm.
And we could kind of give each other hints and tips and stuff and see what we're working with. Bu- bu-
And
bum.
most people look very organized, actually, from what I remember.
Yeah, yeah, it's a mess. I need to figure out a better system, especially with that darn thermal printer, because I do still need my other printer for printing off scan sheets for the post office. So I need to do some rearranging. And honestly, I need to get rid of my accounting section and move that somewhere else.
No, it's nice.
Okay, let's see. Bavarica says, if the seller is not a professional bookseller, I always ask to pack it in a box with some padding. Does not always work though. I had a very rare and fragile book shipped to me in effing envelopes. That was probably me. I use envelopes on books probably $40 and under. It
So
seems to work.
you don't get a lot of complaints, so you're okay.
No, I would say 3 or 4 a year maybe. I had one I told you that was shipped to Hawaii, and those extra long distances seemed also international packages. I usually package a little extra.
Right. Well, the longer the distance, the more hands that handle it, and that's what happens. If you get 5 hands touching it, your chances increase of something going wrong.
Mhm. Okay, Grayson says, I like to have plenty of room, but in this case, I just had to sort the stuff in it. If it's damaged, I'll just take a loss and refund probably, even though it's painful. Yeah. I hope you got insurance, Grayson, on the
Well, yeah,
900.
I sold an expensive book today that I'm putting insurance on. I mean, I always do the insurance, even if it costs me a little bit of money, it is worth what the outcome could be for not doing it.
Yeah. What you want to talk about what you sold yesterday or today?
Ooh, well, that's 2 books. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yesterday, I sold that early edition Alcoholics Anonymous book. And today I sold a very expensive New Orleans cookbook
Wow.
for
Pretty cool.
$2,000.
What era was that from?
1930s.
1930s New Orleans cookbook,
Yeah.
and it sold for how much?
2000.
Wow, that's impressive.
I think I have it right here. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, go get it.
It doesn't look like anything. It looks like nothing.
Yeah, I would look at that and I wouldn't think anything of it. I would think it's maybe a $50 cookbook. Lena Richards. Was she someone that was like, okay. So she was someone that was probably pretty important in the Southern
In the
cooking.
community, yeah, she had a restaurant in segregated Louisiana, New
Yeah.
Orleans, and because her food was so good, she she had a little bit of pull socially, politically, and financially in the restaurant. Very rare book to find in hardcover. And it was discovered in Georgia in a Gaylord.
Was that
Found
a
in a Gaylord.
consignment?
What's
Was
that?
that a consignment? Is that a
Yep.
consignment or okay? Wow. Gonna have
But
to look out that for that one.
yeah, it could have. I mean, if I wasn't there to look at those books, that book may get lost to the scrapyard.
Okay, we got a few more comments. Grayson says, do labels purchased on eBay have insurance by default? LOL. No, they do not. Though I know sometimes if you sell a really expensive item, maybe if it's over $500, eBay says, hey, you need to
Yes.
add like signature
No,
work.
it's automatic. It's
Oh, is
automatic.
it automatic?
Yeah.
They automatically charge it. Okay,
They
good.
did that on the AA book for me. It was automatic signature required.
Yep, that's smart.
And now I'm getting that. I know you're not getting it, but I'm getting that pop up for every one of my items now. I'm getting that pop-up to buy insurance.
Yeah, to buy eBay ship
Yeah,
cover insurance, which
yeah,
I haven't been getting. I got that one time.
yeah.
Um,
Every item I sell, I'm getting that pop-up.
well, they want to
One more
sell you their
step, complete
insurance.
the job.
Yeah, they want to sell you that insurance. Oh, we got Lynn Becker's in chat. Let's see. Okay, Mary said,
LWB's in the house.
yep, yep. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, Grayson said that that author you just sent us has her own Wikipedia page. So that's pretty cool. Josh says New Orleans and Cajun cookbooks usually go for a premium. Yep, Southern cooking stuff is hot. And I would say anything probably pre 1950-ish, maybe. I mean, you can have modern French cookbooks be extremely valuable, but I think it's more likely to have value if it's earlier.
Look how expensive that Martha Stewart book was coming out when the documentary came out. That first edition of Entertaining was going for $300, $400, $500. Now it's back to normal, of course, but all those people bought those multi-$100 copies of a book that you can find anywhere.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like how many people in the Paper Gold group have found it in the last 6 months? Crazy. Let's see. Okay, Mary said Ground Advantage has insurance up to 100, and then Lynn says yes, they do. Mary says Media Mail is not insured, though you can get insurance on Media Mail. And actually, I get that a lot of times if I ask a seller that maybe doesn't always deal in books, if they'll ship it Media Mail,
Right.
and they say no because you can't insure it. But then I explain to them that yes, you can insure Media Mail.
Everybody has their own factual opinions.
Mhm. Yep. Josh says, I got a pallet of books coming from Georgia this week. Hopefully I find something nice like that. Wow, good luck, Josh. You're gonna have to, I hope you make, I'm sure you're making a YouTube video about it, but I'm excited to see.
I can't see the comments. Where are they coming from in Georgia?
Okay. Well, you can ask him because he can hear you.
Josh, where are they coming? I won't be able to see his comments. That's why.
Okay. And Grayson said, let's see, this was a $950-ish lot. It'll said it said they'll have to sign. I sort of assumed they insured it automatically, but I gotta pay more attention. I think it'll require you to have a signature confirmation, but I don't think it necessarily is insured in that case.
Mm.
But yeah, I think a priority box automatically has like $50 or $100 insurance. And I mean, as long as you package it securely, it'll make it.
Ask Josh who also did his freight. Who did the freight for him?
Josh, Max wants to know who did the freight for you.
I know. Because I can't see the chat.
We're gonna have to next week. We're gonna have to go on early and figure
Yes.
out. I don't know why you can't see the chat.
Normally I can see it.
You just got to click around. Maybe exit out, start over on YouTube, find my channel.
Okay.
Okay, Josh, we want to know who did your freight and who they came from, if you don't mind divulging your Georgian sources.
Oh,
Books are coming from a mutual friend. Very suspicious. And he said he took care of the freight, so Josh doesn't know who's doing the shipping. Did you say you've used that ABGL freight service?
I'm trying. I'm having a hard time. I have 2 pallets that have to go out, and I'm struggling with them without Robert, with our old friend who used to handle that. It's very difficult now. It makes me miss him because it was so easy to deal with him. You could get a freight shipped in one phone call, and now it's several phone calls and emails, and it's not as fun as it used to be.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm sure there's all kinds of logistics companies like that, but until you get a relationship and get working with someone and figuring out what they need from you and stuff,
Yeah.
It's tough. Oh, we got Jeff from Connecticut. Jeff Palaka. Is that no, that's Jeff Palaka from Connecticut. The name sounds very familiar. Why is that name familiar, Max?
I don't
Is
know.
is he one of your whatnot? Jeff, are you one of the whatnot buyers?
What's the name? What is the name is Jeff?
Yeah,
Just,
Jeffrey
yeah,
Palaka.
just ask him.
I will ask him. I
Yeah,
just asked him.
yeah.
Viverica says Media Mail has inspections and they do not care enough to wrap it back. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how many, I buy a lot of Media Mail stuff, and I don't think very much of it is getting inspected. Stuff sent to me is getting inspected.
Oh God, no. It never gets expected anymore.
Yeah.
It used to. It used to, right? Beginning of COVID, during COVID, it did, and something happened, and it's more neglect. It's less and less, definitely less and less care for
Yeah.
things.
And especially with Christmas season coming up and packages going crazy, the post office is going to be swamped. I'm sure there's going to be some pretty crazy delays this year.
I think it's gonna happen earlier and earlier.
Yeah. Lynn says, did Robert the freight guy stop working there or something?
He's no longer, all I can say is he's no longer there. We have to deal with somebody else. If anybody needs the new number, they can contact me and I will send them the new number. But it's not as easy as it was working with him,
Yeah.
Robert.
Oh, we got Jeff Tuttle in the chat.
Oh, Cotton State Reads, man,
He just did waving hands.
he did me such a solid. Did I tell you what he did for me?
I don't think so.
I struggled with UPS getting the free boxes. I
Okay.
struggled mightily. I ordered, came the wrong stuff, and Jeff took it upon himself to start an account because he had my address. He started an account for me, and he ordered the boxes for me.
Wow, that's great.
How kind and what a great community. I mean, just
Are those they're bigger boxes or
all
what?
brown. Just they're
Oh,
all brown. They're just
okay.
all brown.
But did you get multiple sizes or
I think Jeff ordered me several of different sizes.
wow.
He did say that uh navigating through the website is difficult. So because he knew how to do it, he did it for me. So that was awesome.
Okay. I figured out who Jeff is. What Jeffrey Palaka, or however you say it, is one of my eBay buyers. He says he really liked the EEM books. Those were the really old 1700s books. Okay, Jeff. Now I recognize your name. I definitely ship him plenty of stuff. That's that's why I recognize his name. Let's see. Grayson has a couple um comments. He says, I have recently unlisted a bunch of buy it nows that I've had up for a while and putting them on 7-day auction.
Starting price is?
I think cheap, $1 or $10
Okay.
starting price.
Well, I didn't know if he was using your technique or not.
Yep. And I think, he's had great success with some of the stuff. He was the one that had the Freemasonry ledgers.
Yep.
Those were really he has some great quality stuff. I've bid on a few of them. I haven't won any yet. I don't think so. That means they're bringing good prices if I can't bid on them and buy them.
And yeah, speaking of auctions, I know we've talked about this a little bit. One of our paper golders, Phil H, had $1,000 day with auctions on Sunday, I believe.
Wow, was it still Easton Presses?
But he made a comment in the Discord and had a $1,000 day, and I'm so happy and proud for him.
Which if someone to have $1,000 day just with buy it nows on eBay is extremely difficult. You need to have a lot of really great inventory up there. It's tough.
And don't forget about Cotton State Reads. You remember what he wants to do, don't you?
Open a bookstore.
He probably has more questions for you right now. Let's blow it out of the water. Let's
Mr.
Jeff,
Tuttle,
ask
what are
him all
your
the questions
questions?
you want.
And Grayson says free brown boxes. I gotta look into this. Do you want to explain that a tiny bit?
I can't. Because I don't know. I
Something
need
about
State Reads to put in the chat.
yeah. Jeff says he also got padded. He got you some padded mailers. Very large. I use them to pack books all the time. I don't think UPS would care. So basically, And Mr. Tuttle will have to explain this in the chat if he doesn't mind.
You may have
Because
to come in live next Monday.
if you set up a UPS business account, apparently you can get some free boxes and free thermal labels too, I think. Max wasn't able to figure it out, but other people were. So I don't know. Try signing up for a UPS business account. I believe it's free, and they have some great perks for you.
And come in next Monday and Jeff will walk you through it.
Yeah. Yep. Jeff, Mr. Tuttle says you have to have a business account on UPS. It's very confusing. Grayson says, I know USPS gives you free flat rate boxes. Yep, but not brown boxes. They used to, I think UPS or the post office used to have unbranded boxes, or
Yeah.
you could turn them inside out and use them.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was some sort of,
Yeah, people still kind of do that though.
yeah. Oh, Lynn has a funny comment. He said, Jeff did a favor for Max someday, and that day may never come. He may ask a favor from Max. Insert Godfather music. You owe one for Jeff now, so be
Oh,
ready to repay it, Max.
I
You know-
have been friends and business with Jeff for about a year now. We have a very strong relationship. I won't walk into a dark room with him from behind, but we'll deal with it.
Let's see. Jeff says you can order boxes all day for free, but you have to have an account to get the brown ones. That's
This
interesting.
is a major hack, by the way. I don't know if people realize how major of a hack this is.
Yeah, and I'm sure they do expect you to ship some packages UPS. I don't ship anything UPS.
Right.
FedEx, I think, seems to be a little bit more reasonable, especially for heavier packages. It might be a smidge more than media mail, but not crazy. But I usually only receive packages media mail and FedEx as well.
That's funny. People are gonna start contacting us to get in touch with Cotton State Reads.
UPS is going to shut down their free
Hashtag UPS
boxes.
boxes.
Josh says, Max or Kent, if you want some free bubble mailers, I can put you in touch with my guy from Gyropack or Gyropack, however you say it. Free bubble mailers, Josh.
Why would we not want free bubble mailers?
I need to try
Yes,
Josh. Josh has links that we can use to get really, really cheap bubble mailers. I bought bubble wrap from Josh's guy. That was the best deal ever. Also the padded mailers, but they're the plastic ones. I traditionally have used the paper ones. They're called craft mailers. They're bubble mailers, but I do want to try some of the more plasticky bubble mailers.
I like the plastic ones just to prevent water and moisture.
Yeah. So yeah, Josh, at some point I'm gonna get your link again and use it to get some bubble mailers and give it a try. And I order like let's see, I think number 3s and number 1s are my most common, and I order like 200 of each size at a time. So
but you ship out minimum of 30, well, not 30, I guess, at least 20 books a day. 20 orders a day.
no, low end
Orders.
it could be as low as 10 packages or boxes.
Okay.
It's usually I would say 10 to 25-ish.
Because of multiple orders. Okay.
Yep. Sometimes like I just had some books end last night, and one person bought I think like 15 or 18 books from that night. So that was just one box, and then there was a few individuals for people that paid. And some people wait a week to pay, some pay right away. It varies a lot.
Tell me about it.
Yep.
eBay keeps promising us they're gonna pay immediately, but
Okay, we're getting crazy comments. So I gotta read some of these quick. Let's see. Jeff says my bookstore owner has gone silent. I'm not sure if it's because of her divorce. So that I know he was working with someone that has an established bookstore.
yes. Yeah, I want to see him make the plunge. He knows this, but I want to see him make the plunge.
Yep. Okay, Grayson says I do have a couple of involved questions I've been thinking about. Do you have any advice or input on how to approach trying to buy a large amounts of material from sellers? In this case, I think I know someone who is trying to rid themselves of a lot of stuff. So bulk buying books. Do you have any advice?
Where are they coming from again?
I would assume it's someone local that he knows that has a huge quantity of books that he thinks could maybe would potentially do a bulk deal.
Do we, is this a monthly thing or a one-time thing?
Um, I'm trying to buy large amounts. Da, da, da. In this case, I think I know someone who is trying to rid themselves of a lot of stuff. So someone has a huge book collection that he thinks they'd potentially do a bulk deal on.
Right.
Do you have any advice?
I would want to see some of it first. You don't have to see it all,
Hmm.
but you do have to see some of it, even if it's pictures and you can't go there physically. You have to get eyes on something. Pictures, video. Um, but when doing a deal like this, not only can you don't have to just guess what you're going to make on it, you also have to put a percentage of how many duds were going to be in there. So it's nice to say, oh, I'm going to make 5,000 or $10,000 on this deal, but you also have to sort of navigate how much is not going to be worthy of putting them on eBay or Amazon or whatnot or any other marketplace. And what is that time cost for you? And let's say it's 2,000 books. When I do a deal like this and I say 2,000 books, and let's say 1,000 of them are going to be listable,
Hmm.
I have to now divide how many hours it's going to take me to pay my employee to list 1,000 books. And I figure that into my pricing as well. And most people don't do that, but you should be looking at the labor cost of what it is for you. That's why I tend to offer lower prices for things, because that labor cost is inside of that.
Yeah, and my math is a little bit different than yours because I'm auctioning it off. So
Yes.
if I buy a carload of books, I can have them all sold in a week, maybe a week and a half,
Right.
and cash in so I can afford to pay a little bit more. Buy it nows, you could be selling books from that collection for years and years.
3, 4 years.
Yeah. So I mean it is tough. I mean, I guess basically you need to estimate what the value is there. And then also realize even because that book is worth $100, you may never
Right.
sell it, or it could take 4 years to sell.
All right. And
Um,
also too, on bulk deals, on the plus side, there's always going to be a few that are going to be really great winners that you didn't count on.
yeah.
There's always,
Yep.
if you do your research, you're always going to find something wonderful.
What do you think the standard is in the book industry? Let's say there's a $10,000 book collection of all quality books. I'm gonna say Easton
The
Press.
value is 10,000.
Yeah. What do you think is kind of industry standard on what someone could expect to pay or someone would accept?
Yeah, that's tough because it all depends on the type of books. Is it a collection of firearm books? Is it just a mishmash of different things? Is it World War II history? Is it Southern history? Like what? It all depends on the category for me.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm gonna offer low. I'm gonna offer low because what people don't understand is the labor that goes into it.
Yeah. I think, okay, if someone had a $10,000 book collection, I would possibly pay a few $1,000s for it.
Yeah, I would never go that high for $10,000.
And I would just because it could be a couple weeks of work for me. And after you figure in all the eBay fees and stuff, you're left with a few thousand profit.
Yeah.
Um, and it depends. Every say it's a dealer that wants to retire or someone that maybe has an online business that they want to get rid of, or just a collector, um, they're going to value the books differently than you. They're probably going to value some of the books a lot higher than you do. Um, but also it's a very difficult thing. It's not like if you have gold and silver or real estate or whatever else, jewelry that they can sell anywhere. Books, I think, are a special thing that people with books realize how difficult it is to sell a large quantity of them. So you can, um, offer them.
And it all depends on if it's harder for you geographically to get books, you need to pay up to get a collection when you can.
Mhm.
You and I talk about this all the time. It's geographically, it's not difficult for me to find books. And so because it's easier for me, I know that I don't have to pay a lot for a collection. That there's another collection around the corner.
I tend to pay up for books, but it's simple for me to flip them, and I'm moving 750 books a month, so I tend to pay up. I'd rather make crazy profits, but it's tough for me. Maybe I'm just not good at negotiating, but okay, let's get some more questions in. Da, 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 da.
I feel like we're
Grayson,
probably getting behind.
yeah, we are. Um, Grayson says, do you ever get books that require a lot of research, such that you contact another bookseller or museum or something? Or do you just do what you can in the brief period and then list it and pray?
Again, why is Grayson not in paper gold?
Grayson, Max has a paper gold group that has about 140 booksellers. Some people have been in it for decades and some just starting, but it's a really cool group where if you have a question about a book,
He asked all the right questions.
uh, yeah, yeah. Well,
So the question is what? When you get high-end books?
do you have books that require a lot of research and then you have to reach out to, do you ever reach out to other booksellers or museums or anything?
Um, Not with books, with art. When I've sold art,
Yeah.
I definitely had some connections in the art world, at some auction houses that I can use
Mhm.
for some information. Not so much for comps, but with art, the most difficult thing oftentimes is you have something nice, but the signature is just horrible. You can't determine what it is, and sometimes I'd use my connections to help decipher some signatures on art. But with books, no, I'm I think most of the time I can find what is out there. Now, I did question you this week with a book I couldn't find any information on, and then you couldn't find any information on. You remember that
Oh.
religious book?
Yep, it was an old children's religious book,
Yeah,
just like a kind of like a moral story book from the
right,
1850s, I think. And my inclination was just because it's rare,
right,
my gut feeling is it's worth 20 to $40.
right.
And I
Well,
know a lot of people. There's so many books out in the world that if you Google them or check a Libris or whatever, there are going to be no other copies, and people get excited about that. But there's still kind of a threshold for what something can be worth. An
right.
old children's religious book, no matter how rare it is, still has a high end value, in my opinion.
I did wonder though, because it was a female author, if you remember that book a little bit. I wonder if that was a kind of book that was a gift for a child, and that female name was a child's name. So you would present that child with this book, maybe at their communion or something.
Okay.
And that's why we couldn't find anything, because it's one of those specialty books.
Yeah. That's why I love auctions so much because I don't have to do a single comp. I don't care what the comp is. I just care what my bidders want to pay
Yeah, but
for it.
don't you sometimes get curious about what something might be worth?
Yeah. And I would say before I list something, if I think maybe it's not overly exciting, I might check it out to make sure it has potential to actually sell for me.
Right.
Um, and I guess especially I am doing comping when I'm buying stuff. If I'm at a local bookstore and they want $50 for a book, I need to make sure that sold comps are gonna treat me right and
Right.
not gonna lose my butt, hopefully. All right. Mr. Tuttle says, I have a great idea on how Max can pay me back. Easton Press, cough cough. You can pay him back in Easton Press. Trade boxes for Easton Press. Someone's getting the short end of that stick.
Maybe I'll send Mr. Tuttle a box of some vintage sports mags for him.
You can bake him some cookies for Christmas. That would be nice of you. Let's see. Josh says, Max, what is your process for training a new employee to list look like?
Ooh. Side by side next to me. Um, I'll give them some notes. I'll have them check out my store. And then I will ask them questions after they've had a night to look at my store. I'll bring them in again and I'll ask them questions and see how they respond, because that will tell me how much they've studied what I'm asking them to learn about, which is my inventory. It's funny
And
you
I,
say that. I don't, let me see if I still have it. Hold on. I don't know
okay,
if I still have it.
I would say one of the things that you don't delegate, you let your lister do the pictures and the
Right.
description and the title, but you're doing the price. That's
Yes.
one of the toughest thing is pricing stuff is so subjective that Max does the price, and then you'll also like have a note saying like, hey, make sure you
Right.
get a picture of the signature and put that in the description. Um, what else do you put on your
But
notes?
I also know this, there's also those questions of, do they list at your house? And my main listers, I fix them crates of books, they take it home and they list. Um, for every listing that gets made on eBay, I do get an email. So I have a lister who likes to how do I say this? Burn the midnight oil. He works very late at night. So while I'm sleeping, he's doing listings at 1, 2, 3 in the morning. So when I do wake up and I go to my computer, I can see 40 emails of the listings he's done.
Mhm.
So my first cup of coffee is I'm checking those listings, each one at a time, opening up the email to see if everything matches what I would want it to match.
Yep.
And you do have to be patient. Listers are going to make mistakes. It's just part of it. Um, but you do also, in order to scale, you have to let go of some responsibilities. You cannot scale and do everything. You cannot do it. I tried, believe me, I tried, and you cannot do it.
And I think you're smart to do the pricing yourself and maybe leave notes if there's something that maybe like someone that isn't a book person
Right.
that's just wants a side job and wants to do your listing. I mean, taking the pictures, anyone can do that.
Mhm.
Descriptions, you have to have some knowledge about books to do your
Unless you
description.
just use a cut and paste description as I use.
Yeah, yeah, which is crazy, I think, but we all do things our own
It
way.
works.
Max, his descriptions are just, hey, look at the pictures, which is fine. People can look at the pictures and find the copyright or the publishing date. They can see the condition. And actually, you're probably better off relying on the pictures versus someone's typed
Oh
up
yeah.
description
Oh
of
yeah.
the condition of a book.
Yeah, but you know, Josh is somebody that I'm really excited about 2025 for him.
Mhm.
I'm really excited about him scaling up. I know he's making some changes in his stores as we speak. Um, and so I am very excited to watch what he does in 2025. I think he's on the verge of a tremendous year, especially with the way of book sales are going right now. Uh,
Mhm.
if you go on YouTube right now, everyone's complaining about slow sales, except for the book people.
But even some of the book people are, and I would say your solution and my solution is just to list some new inventory and list some good inventory is kind of the solution to slow sales.
Yeah, I mean, listing good inventory is it's always the secret. I mean,
Mhm.
all the people who are complaining about slow sales, most of them, the vast majority of them are selling in saturated markets.
Yeah. Yeah, the clothing market, it doesn't matter how many new pieces of clothing you're listing in a day.
Right.
There's so many millions and millions to choose
Right.
from.
There's only so many polo buyers and Nike buyers every day. There's only so much. We're not recreating 1,000 more buyers every day. Um, people in the sports card market complaining all over YouTube about slow sales. Well, that's because there's too many companies producing cards, and the market is slowly imploding on itself and becoming saturated.
Yeah, I think that market was really slow. And then as the prices started ticking up and people got
Right.
interested, everyone realized, oh my gosh, my sports card collection in my old childhood bedroom is worth tons of money. Let's all hop in and try to make some quick money.
Right. But again, the good sports cards, just like the good books, will always sell, and you won't have, and it won't be slow business.
Mhm.
But you have to, you have, I think the secret, or not even the secret, but the hack for the people having slow sales, either source differently or source better.
Yeah. Yep. Good advice.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna speed read through some of these questions. Jeff Palaka says, brother, are you going to be listing any more of the EEM ancient books? Can you tell any neat story of the holes? Those old books are great. Again, my sincere thanks, Jeff. So the books came from a collection in Indiana. They were used actually as movie props on an unknown movie. I'm not sure what the movie was. Um, but they were used as movie props, and they were, I believe they were stacked flat, and then there was holes drilled through them by the prop company, and then they'd stick a pole in to the stack of books to keep them from tipping over, or so they could move a stack of books easier. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. These
I
books were,
can't believe we're still talking about this.
I mean, I don't know how many hundreds of books I ended up from the 1700s, huge leather folio books, and these prop companies just drilled a big hole right through them, ruining a two, three, $400 book and turning it into like a $10 book. And I have a few left, not very many, Jeff, but I'll maybe I'll send you a message with what I have.
Yeah,
Um,
make a bulk deal with them, buy them all.
yeah. Uh, Grayson says the research question relates to a book that I have that I know is very special, but also a huge undertaking to properly catalog it. I've contacted some specialized dealers and they are very dismissive. Yeah, sometimes dealers,
Oh, no, everyone's busy.
yeah.
Everyone's busy. And sometimes you have to pay for their time. We all want to be nice and give people our time, but the book business, believe it or not, everybody has an old book that they found in grandma's bedroom or in her attic, and they're all asking questions to some specialized dealer every day.
Mhm.
And not everybody has time, not everybody has to pick our brains episode where, I mean, Grayson can show us the book or tell us what it is if he wants.
Yeah, yeah, Grayson. Maybe I'll send you a message on eBay and you can
Yeah,
send me some
get a
pictures.
picture for us. We'll talk about it next week for you.
Yeah. Or I don't know if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook or anything. You can send us messages there. Um, and you know what? Maybe if I had book that I knew was really special, or whatever, it's a botany book or something on Native Americans or something, I would try to track down a dealer that I really specialized in that stuff. And again, if you're asking them for advice on how to price it or where to sell it, they might be hesitant. But if you say, "Hey, I'd maybe be interested in consigning it with you,"
Mhm.
that would maybe perk their
Right.
ears a little bit. And I think most, dealers we're all busy. But a lot of dealers are more than happy to help people out. But they're just busy. I think that's the biggest obstacle.
It's all about how you approach them
Yeah. Okay, we
because
got a
because you're being approached every day.
yeah. We're gonna fly through some more questions quick.
Okay.
And Mr. Tuttle says, I finally hit 31,000 in sales, doing it part-time with a full-time job and two kids. Wow, I didn't realize Jeff had a full-time job. This is just his side hustle.
Mhm.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
If I could,
He's very focused. He's very dedicated. And I feel like he's trying to put too much into too little time. So that's why I'm excited for him, because if he could ever free himself up from the job, imagine what he could do.
but he's in that awkward
Mhm.
time where, okay, if he quits his full-time job,
Yep.
not getting that steady paycheck, and he needs to know that eBay's always going to be there and there's always going
Yep.
to be the cash flow on eBay, and it's not guaranteed. You really do need to work your way up to making money to the point where hey, if there's a slow month, I'm going to be okay.
Right. But Jeff is also extremely smart, and he knows that doing eBay, doing Amazon, doing whatnot, he's done whatnot. So he's on 3 platforms right now. I think with with more time on his side, he would make such an investment in his future. He knows how I feel. He knows. I've
And
told
I
him.
think before you quit your job, and probably he's in a similar situation that if I quit my full-time job and work full-time on the book business, holy moly, what kind of money could I be making?
Right.
And you were actually making more time at your side hustle than your full-time
Yes.
teaching job. So when you quit your teaching job, you were actually making more money.
My teaching job was 125 a day, and I ended up leaving teaching when I got to consistently 700 to 800 a day.
Yeah.
That's when I said it's time. So
And the
I
profit
gave
on, yeah.
myself a little bit of extra room. I knew what I could do daily, and it was a no-brainer after a while. But
And honestly,
I was chomping at the bit to get out for a couple of years.
at that point, your teaching full-time was actually a hindrance to making more money.
Yeah. Waking up and going to school, but upset my
Yep.
business every day.
Jeff says he's dying every day to quit his job, but it's scary.
That's
It
it.
is.
That's
It is
it.
scary. It is scary
I know, but
to
that's
quit your
it.
job. Yeah, you hope that okay, if you quit your job and dedicate all those hours to your online selling, you're going to cash in majorly. But you know what? If I mean, you still got to go out and find inventory and list it and get it sold. Um, okay, M. Donley, who I feel like is are they a paper golder?
They've been in the show before.
Okay, M. Donley says, "Hello, what is your biggest obstacle when you started? Obtaining inventory, advertising and listing, other sellers, etc." Well, what do you think was your biggest obstacle when you started?
I'm not sure if they're asking you as a bookstore owner or me as an eBay seller. So I'm gonna answer as an eBay seller. You can answer as a bookstore owner, I guess. My biggest obstacle again is what Jeff is dealing with, which is I wanted to do this so bad. I would come home from school, start shipping, squeezing in listing as I'm eating dinner, listing as I'm eating dinner, and time was always the issue. Again, sourcing has never been a problem for me. And sourcing is not an issue for Jeff. Jeff sources very well. Um, I just needed more time. And between what I was making on eBay and the time that I wanted to devote to the business, I knew I had to get out of teaching
Yeah.
because I
I
had
think
such a
there's
passion for it. I couldn't wait to wake up and do this every day.
yeah. I would say one of the obstacles I still deal with. I know inventory just falls on Max's lap, and he does a lot of things. He hands out business cards. He's made connections over the years. You know, his grandma's cousin will like know that he likes books and send him some books, or his neighbor's sister-in-law's grandma has some books and like will try.
A former student of mine's father got me my last book deal
Yeah, yeah.
from
Which
five
part of
years
that
ago.
is from making connections and talking about books and handing out business cards. Actually, one of the big deals I was working on was an estate sale company. That deal fell through, but I think there'll be some potential deals. Was a business card that I handed out to some random guy at an auction over 3 years ago, and that guy still knew that hey, Kenton Marshfield has likes books and buys books. Um, and you never know whether you're at flea markets or garage sales. If you're at a garage sale with some books, hand your business card and say, "Hey, if you come across more books, let me know. I'm always buying." Um, but sourcing definitely is a tough thing for me because I am kind of specialized. I like pre 1900 books that are eBay auctionable, so it's tough for me to find those books at reasonable prices because uh, owning the bookstore now, people bring stuff in. They'll bring up the grandma's beat up grammar book from 1945 that isn't valuable. They made millions of them, and the condition's horrible. And people will get excited over a 60-year-old book.
Right.
So they definitely get extra excited about a 150-year-old book. I
Yeah.
know Max just I don't know if he's the luckiest guy in the world or what, but he has no issues with sourcing.
Well, again, I have Miami to the south of me, Palm Beach to the north of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the middle. Florida is a great book town, number one. Florida is also a place where people come to retire, so they bring their book collections here to retire. Then they pass away. This is just the truth of the business. And the people, when they pass away, the book's got to go somewhere. If your name and number is out there, there's a chance you're going to get a call.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
just the truth.
But it is surprising because in your area, I mean, how many bookstores are within a, say, hour drive of you? There's probably dozens, couple
Oh,
dozen.
two,
That's it.
just two, yeah.
Okay. See, that's what I was always like thinking about, like people that live in the Twin Cities or Madison, Wisconsin. Um, Especially maybe not in Madison. I think a lot of the bookstores are gone now, but in the Twin Cities, there's a dozen book dealers that are
Right,
competing over these
right. But
estates.
20 years ago, there were 10.
Yeah.
Now they're just less and less. South Florida is very ripe and ready for another really good bookstore. I don't
Mhm.
know who's going to build it, who's going to create it, but they are ready for another great bookstore.
Yeah, I agree. I think most locales.
Yeah.
I'm in rural Wisconsin, and there's a lot of people that will drive an hour or two every couple months to come see me. Okay. Jeff, we got some comments from Jeff. He says, I'm dying every day to quit my job, but it's scary. The first 5 months of this year, I made more on eBay than he did his job. So that's great. But then
What?
there's a but then it hit a big slowdown and put me behind. So he had some great success. Now, what would happen if he quit his job and dedicated all those hours to eBay?
My advice for Jeff, if I was going to have a one-on-one real heart-to-heart talk, I would tell him to not quit for a year, stay with the job for a year, but every month put X amount of money to the side and have that emergency fund
Yeah, yep.
for that slow time. So work for one more year, but plan it out where you're putting, I'm just being hypothetical, $1,000 a month away from your sales, not from your savings, from your sales. And at the end of the year, you'll have $10,000, $12,000, and you can use that money in case of emergency if things get slow. But I know he hears me. I know he hears Paper Golders. I know he looks at the Discord. We are in the beginning of a gold rush right now. We are literally in the beginning of a book gold rush.
Yeah, I think my eBay auctions, obviously there's slow days.
Right.
Um, but I think especially with all the people in the group, the new people or the old people, they're all just having unbelievable success in the book
Right.
industry.
And also, the beauty of Jeff maybe having a store is the fact that people will bring you books, and you can't beat that.
Yes.
They're bringing you books to your store, and it only takes one collection to change your next year.
Yep. Or one collection that you spend 3 days listing, and that's your month income right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Though I will say my bookstore, my bookstore revenue is a lot less than my online revenue.
Right.
And there are plenty of days that I will sell $100 at the bookstore and then spend 500 buying inventory of people that bring in. So
Right.
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, but I mean, you and I have talked about this before. If I was your manager of your bookstore, I would be making you do some things different, which is advertising and being more community related than you are right now.
Yeah.
And so your store could be another gold mine for you, but you just don't want to go in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got some good questions here. Mary says that she doesn't know any bookstores in Milwaukee, but there probably are some.
Oh, of course
You
there
know,
are.
I don't know. Even like Madison is a pretty decent
Yeah.
sized city, and obviously if they have half price books and Barnes and Noble and maybe a couple small independent bookstores, but not like Madison used to have 3 just on State Street.
Well, if I would tell Mary, if there's no bookstores in Milwaukee, go start one.
Honestly, I don't know. I Google and it's tough to find the bookstores and to know what they have. And I'm not interested in the new bookstores. I want the old stuff. So
All right, one more question. I got to go. I haven't had dinner yet.
yeah,
Pick a
thank you
good one.
all. We will see you next
Oh, that's it?
actually No, we know we got a few more
Oh,
things pretty quick. But I'm doing a wrap up before that
okay.
because next week we're gonna be half an hour early. I believe we're gonna
Oh,
be at
yes.
4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. We have a special guest.
Are we revealing who it is or no?
I don't think we have a very special guest that I think everyone will be
Oh, I
excited.
mean, everybody will know this special guest. So yeah, we don't have to reveal. We'll make
We
them
want
come
to,
into the show.
yeah,
No, we'll make them
everyone.
have to come in.
Next Monday we're going to be half an hour early, starting half an hour early, and a special guest. So be on time.
Well,
Just be
yeah,
on time.
but hey, is it safe to say this special guest? Everybody will love this special guest.
I think everyone's going to love this guest. They're going to be over the moon for this guest.
Okay, okay.
Should we? I will say that they met.
No, say
Okay.
nothing.
Okay.
Say
Just
nothing.
come next Monday. We have a
Ah!
special guest. Okay. We have a few quick comments and thank you all. We appreciate all the questions. It's been a fun show. Jeff says I run the issue a lot. People think their books are worth millions. Yep, Jeff, same. I Max doesn't have that issue, but I do. Okay, Grayson says, hell, I spoke to a dealer who got super lucky and basically got first access to an entire library being de-ascensioned, and it basically made his entire career. Yep, yep. There's deals out there.
It
I will
happens
just
more
say
frequently than people realize.
I will just say quickly that I had a deal last week that the university in Madison was giving away several thousand old agriculture farming books.
Mhm.
Some of them are old enough, but I went down there and loaded up my car for free.
Yep.
And I don't know how many thousands of dollars I'm going to make. And if I would have been closer or would have got the whole collection, it would have been a year's worth of income.
Yep.
All right. Well,
That's it.
thank you, everyone. It's been a very fun show. And we will see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern.
With a special guest. Good night.
Special guest. I'm so excited for the special guest.